Horizontal multiplication and division booklet 11, dividing by 2, 3, and 4 with remainders. Now, previously you've already learned how to divide without remainders. So for example, we had, say, 8 divided by 2. Well, we know that to be 4. But you could also say that it is also 4 remainder 0. There's nothing left over. There's nothing to complete it. Since 2 times 4 is equal to 8, it works out nice and even. Here with my balloon example, I see 8 balloons, and then they've been circled into groups of 2. Perfect. Sometimes when you divide, it is not always even, though. You may have a remainder. Remainders must be smaller than the divisor. The divisor is the number you're dividing by, in this case, 2. When the divisor is 2, remainders can be only 0 or 1. So to get an example of that, 9 divided by 2 is equal to 4 remainder 1. And I'm going to show you how that works. Since 2 times 4 is equal to 8, you need one more to make 9, because we're doing 9 divided by 2. So that's what your remainder is going to be. So since 2 times 4 is 8, and then you have 8 plus 1, that makes 9. That's why it's going to be 4 remainder 1. To kind of show that out visually, I'm going to have my 9 balloons, and I've circled my 4 groups of 2, and then the one on the outside not circled is my remainder. So that's where the R1 comes from. So let's move on down. Now if I said solve 17 divided by 2, we need to figure out what goes first. So if I said like 2 times 7, that's only 14. That would be too low because 17 minus 14 is 3. The remainder would be 3, which is bigger than your divisor of 2. So it can't work. Now let's say we did 2 times 9. Well, 2 times 9 is equal to 18, and that's too high because we're only dealing with 17. You can't go above. So 2 times 8 in this case works. 2 times 8 is 16, which is 1 less than 17. So then my final answer would be 8, because it goes in 8 times, with a remainder of 1. Now let's try 13 divided by 2. Well, if 2 does not divide into 13 with a remainder of 0, think of the closest number of 13 that is smaller that divides evenly by 2. So in this case, 12. 2 goes in evenly into 12 6 times. Then think how many you need to add to get that to 13. In this case, 12 plus 1. So my answer for this one, and you can see that visually, I've got 6 groups of balloons of 2, and then 1 left over. So my final answer is 6 remainder 1. Moving on back up to fill in the missing numbers, I'm just going to divide. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. 0 divided by anything is always going to be 0. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. 3 divided by 2 is going to be 1 remainder 1 because it goes in 1 time and it has 1 left over, so 1 remainder 1. 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2 remainder 1. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, and so on. You can see how this pattern is working. So then you're going to have 7 divided by 2 is 3 remainder 1. And then I've gone ahead and I filled in the rest of the answers for you. But with 2's, it's fairly easy. It's either remainder of 1 or it goes in evenly. There's no other options. So now that we've done divided by 2's, let's move on to dividing by 3's. So once again, you've already learned how to divide with 0 remainders. For example, 9 divided by 3. You know that the answer is 3. Remainder 0, since 3 times 3 would be 9. Remember, fact families and all that. So over there, I've got 9 balloons, and I've sectioned them off into 3 even sets of 3. Now, sometimes when you divide, it is not always even, just like we mentioned before. You may have a remainder. Remainders must be smaller than the divisor. When the divisor is 3, the number doing the dividing, once again, remainders can only be 0, 1, or 2. So for example, what if I had 11 divided by 3? Well, I would think, okay, 3 times 3 is 9, okay, and then I would need 2 more to make 11, so that's going to be my remainder. Since 3 times 3 is 9, then 9 plus 2 makes 11, that makes sense. So it's going to be 3, then whatever you need to make 11, remainder 2 in this case. So let's try 17 divided by 3. If I did 3 times 4, that would be 12. No, that wouldn't work. I would need 5 more. If I did 3 times 6, that would be 18. That's too high. That would be over. 3 times 5 is correct. So since 3 times 5 is 15, I need 2 more. So my final answer is going to be 5, remainder 2. Let's move on down to the last one here. Solve 19 divided by 3. Now, if 3 does not divide into 19 with a remainder of 0, think of the closest number to 19 below it, or smaller, that divides evenly by 3. Well, in this case, it would be 18, since 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then how many more do I need to add to that original number to get 19? Well, 18 and 19 is just a difference of 1. So then I think, okay, I've got it. 19 divided by 3 is equal to 6, remainder 1. So let's move back up to fill in the missing numbers again. I see 0 divided by 3, that's equal to 0. Remember, 0 divided by anything is always going to be 0. 3 divided by 3, if you divide something by itself, it's just going to be 1, always. That never changes. So then let's look at 4. So we have 4 divided by 3. Well, 3 will go into that one time with 1 left over. So that's going to be 1, remainder 1. 5 divided by 3 goes in one time and has 2 left over. So that's going to be 1, remainder 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 7 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 1. 8 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and so on. Again, you can see this pattern forming again. That's 10 divided by 3 is going to be 3, remainder 1. You can go all the way down, not a big problem from there. Moving over to page number 9 now. We're going to do the same type of thing, but with dividing by 4 this time. So let's say 20 divided by 4, well, that's equal to 5, remainder 0. Once again, sometimes when you divide, it is not always even. You may have a remainder. Remainders must be smaller than the divisor. When the divisor is 4, in this case, remainders can only be numbers below 4, which would be 0, 1, 2, or 3. So let's say we had 23 divided by 4. That's going to be 5, remainder 3, because 4 times 5 is equal to 20, and then I need 3 more to make 23. So that's where I'm going to get the 5, remainder 3 from. So let's move down to solving 30 divided by 4. 4 times 6 would be 24. I would need 6 more. 4 times 8 would be 32. That would be 2 over, so I can't do that. 4 times 7 is 28, meaning I would only need 2 more. That works perfectly. So I'm going to get 7, remainder 2. And that's going to be my answer for that one. So solving 43 divided by 4. If 4 does not divide into 43 with a remainder of 0, think of the closest number to 43 that is smaller and divides evenly by 4. So in this case, 40 divided by 4 would be equal to 10. That's nice and even. 44 is too high. So now think, how many more do I need to add to that to get to 43? Well, I was at 40. I need to get to 43. Looks like I need 3 more. So my answer is going to be 10, remainder 3. Moving up to fill in the missing numbers, we're going to again start with 0 divided by 4, which is 0. And 4 divided by 4, which is 1. Those should be review. 5 divided by 4 is equal to 1, remainder 1, because it goes in one time evenly, and it needs 1 more to make 5. So 6 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 2. 7 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 3. 8 divided by 4, that's just 2, and that again is just review. So the same pattern is going to go through again. 9 divided by 4 is 2, remainder 1. 10 divided by 4 is 2, remainder 2, and so on. 11 divided by 4 is 2, remainder 3. 12 divided by 4 is just 3. So again, that doesn't really change anything. Hopefully this tutorial has really kind of helped you out and kind of see what we're talking about here with basic introduction to remainders. But if not, please ask your Gideon instructor to help you out, and I'm sure they will have no problem helping you with any questions that you have. All right, good luck.